Hey guys in Australia, I hope that you received your survival bracelets and everything. I want to take just a few minutes and show you a few things about the bracelet. Some of the bracelets we made are actually going to be probably too big for some of the kids, and I want to show you how to make some adjustments to them in case you need to adjust them and make them smaller. Just to show you here, this is the inside of a survival bracelet. This is how we make them. This is how we put them together. You'll notice there's a little place right there, right here, where we've actually melted it together. Kind of remember that little spot right there. That's key in making an adjustment to the survival bracelet. Here's one that I have made up, and you can kind of see it's really big. I'll show you a wrist here. This is Tristan, my son, his arm. You can see this is way too big for him. Okay, and we're going to be making some adjustments to this thing. But let me show you here. Open it up, and you can look along the inside of this bracelet. Look along this inside right here, and somewhere in here you should be able to identify where we put that inner strand together. There's that inner strand, remember? Okay, it's along the inside here. And I'll see if I can get this close enough that you can see it. You might not be able to make that out, but right in there you can actually see where it has been, that inner strand has been melted together. Now I point that out because we're going to start on this end. Okay, this is the end we'll make that adjustment on. Whichever end that junction has been put together, we are going to make the adjustment from that end. You can maybe see it a little bit clearer out there. You can see that little spot right there where we actually put it together. Okay. And so we're going to start on this end of the bracelet. If you notice, at the ends of the bracelet are the places where we have melted that string together. That's on both sides here, where we melted it together. What I'll do is I'll take a little pair of pliers or something like this, and I'm going to try to grab this little section like this, and I'm just going to try to work that back through that knot. Just working that piece back through there. You can even grab that piece of those pliers or whatever and just push it right on back through there. Just like that. See how it's now come loose there? And once you get one side loose, the other side should be real simple to come loose. Just like that. Okay? So now that bracelet is untied from that first knot. Alright, and then I'm just going to start untying these. I'll pull them back through. Just going to pull all these knots back through. Just keep pulling them all back through. And now I have gotten down to the point where you can actually see where we have made that junction spot. Okay, I told you this was an important spot. It's the place where we're going to make our we're going to make it smaller for you. I forgot my scissors. Tristan, will you go get my scissors off my desk? He's going to go get my scissors, and I'm going to actually untie this just a little bit more right here, just to make sure we have enough room. Okay, so now we can see this junction right there. We can see that junction. What I'm going to do is I'll take some scissors and I'm going to cut right here, right behind this spot right here, and then we'll make our adjustments. Let me show you on his wrist here, since his wrist is a lot smaller, the size of probably most of the kids that you'll be working on. We can kind of get an idea as to where that needs to be. Okay, so we're looking pretty good there. Okay, this is how I do it. I will just clip that together right there. You can make the cut before if you want to. You just take some scissors. Like I said, we're just going to cut right behind that knot right there. We'll make that cut right there just like that. And we're going to put it on his arm like this. and then I'm just going to make this tighter. Pull that knot back through, pull it up there, and keep pulling it up there until we get to about the right size. Okay, now you can see how the bracelet has gotten a whole lot smaller on his wrist. It's about the size that it needs to be. Everything is just about where it needs to be. I pulled that knot up there closer. Kind of see there what we've done. Alright, so pull this knot just a little bit tighter here. That's about where we need to be. Okay, so I'm now going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut off this excess piece right here. Alright, I'm going to cut that off right there. Get that excess piece out of the way. Now it's still just a little bit close here for me to work, so I'm going to go ahead and untie just another knot or two, just so I have plenty of room to work. So that's all I've done is just untied those knots. Okay, now my pieces are kind of overlapping here. You see that piece right there is a little bit too long, and so I don't want to make my junction too close to this knot up here. Okay, make my junction on back down into here, and so this piece right here is a little long. I'm going to go ahead and trim that piece just a little bit. I'm going to try to cut it right about where those two are of equal length. This piece right here, this piece right here are of equal length. And so I'm just going to take my scissors, trim that piece off of there. Okay, so now you can see those pieces are about the same length. That's about where it needs to be. Now, this is where I guess maybe it gets a little tricky. I don't know. It's not too bad once you've done it a time or two. But we need to make that junction between those two pieces that we have cut. Okay, the best way to do that is just with a lighter. You can melt those ends and put them together. And so I'd like to take those two ends and try to keep all the other pieces out of the way because you're going to be doing some melting here. And I'll just kind of take those ends. I'll try to get them both kind of just right together. And I'll take my flame and I'll heat them both up at the same time. Maybe I'll spend a little time heating one up and then heating the other up, just trying to keep both of them in the flame. You want to melt it pretty good. You can see that one actually caught on fire a little bit. It's melting pretty good. And then you have, you don't have to rush really fast here, but you want to go ahead and push those two pieces together, just like that. You can see them just kind of swell up a little bit. Now I'll wet my finger just a little bit, and you can, it's hot, but you can kind of dip your finger in water or something like that. You can kind of smooth that out just a little bit. It just makes for a better knot. You see that? So that's kind of where we are. We've made our adjustment on our bracelet. We made it smaller. The only thing left to do now is to actually tie the knot itself. So we need to tie those knots back together, finish the bracelet out. And the way that you tie the knot out is you take this one side, and I always work from the back of the bracelet. The way you know it's the back of the bracelet, this little buckle on the end is actually curved. Okay, and so that curve will be on the inside of the bracelet, the back of the bracelet. And so that piece is facing towards me. Alright, so with my right hand I'll make a loop with one side and then a loop with the other side. Okay, and so that right hand I've made, you see two loops there. This piece right here will go down through that one loop, back around, up through the other side, the loop on the other side. Just like that. Now, you've still got this little piece hanging down right here that has come from this side. That piece that just came through that top loop will go between the bracelet and that piece and back up through the loop. Alright? Then, I'll just keep everything, hold everything together, and pull that piece on through, and then that piece right there, I'll take that slack up as well. As you get to the end of the bracelet, it gets a little more difficult keeping everything together, but you basically are going to pull those two together to where you will end up, that's that first knot, that first loop, and there's the second set of loops. Okay, what I do is put my fingers